Hello, everybody. This is Andy coming to you from Clown World Chronicles Studios. I wanted to discuss a particular subject today. It's something I've been seeing more and more of being used in the political discourse, deployed by usually by ideologues, has a rhetorical strategy. It's called the Motte and Bailey logical fallacy. Basically, what it is when somebody proposes something controversial and when they're challenged on it, they tend to withdraw or retreat to a safer position. As you can see here on the image, basically what a Mott and Bailey is, it was once a medieval structure. So basically, you would build this structure around a village, and that would be called the Bailey. And then the Mott would be this elevated mound that you could retreat to, which was more easily defensible. And somebody coined this term for a political rhetoric that is often used these days, where if somebody posits something controversial and that is not easily defensible, they have this fallback position to which they can retreat to and defend their argument from that easily more defensible position. So we have a couple of examples here that I want to show you. The perfect example for something like this is, for example, people will say black people can't be racist. Well, when you challenge them on it, you explain to them that anybody can be racist. Being racist has a specific definition in the dictionary, and what these people will normally do is they'll fall back to the high ground, to the more easily defensible position, and they'll say, well, racism is prejudice with power, or prejudice plus power, and because blacks don't have any institutional power, therefore they can't be racist. So checkmate, I win the argument, go fuck yourself. That's one example. Another example is this woman from the Matt Walsh documentary, What is a Woman? They're discussing, Matt is trying to specifically nail down what the definition of the word woman is. And this woman employs the Motte and Bailey technique to defend her indefensible position once Matt kind of has her cornered.
Male gametes. That's what makes me male.
No, your sperm don't make you male.
Then what does?
It's a constellation.
In reality, in truth, okay?
Whose truth are we talking about?
The same truth that says we're sitting in this room right now, you and I.
No, you're not listening.
If I see a chicken laying eggs and I say that's a female chicken laying eggs, did I assign female, or am I just observing a physical reality that's happening in the world?
Does a chicken have gender identity? Does a chicken cry?
Well,
Does a chicken commit suicide? Let's
What does that have to do
frame
with-
it, because you're trying to...
Chicken has sex like any
A chicken
biological
has
organism.
an assigned gender, but a chicken doesn't have a gender identity.
So we assign female to chickens when they lay eggs?
We assume they're female if they lay eggs.
So as you can see from the video clip, basically Matt's trying to nail down objective reality and talking about a chicken as an example, where he's trying to say, well, look, if I observe a chicken laying eggs, I know for a fact that that is a female chicken, because only female chickens lay eggs. And the pediatrician, I don't even know how she's allowed to have a license, but the pediatrician basically states, well, does a chicken have gender? And when she realizes that's a losing argument, she retreats to her Mott and says, well, does a chicken does a chicken cry? Does a chicken commit suicide? Basically what she's doing there is she's retreating to the high ground, to the more easily defensible position that states, well, if you deny trans people the ability to mutilate and sterilize themselves, will they cry? They will cry. They will commit suicide. So if you don't agree to my political stance, what you're doing is causing the harm to others, right? But that's not rooted in reality. That's basically a rhetorical stratagem that they've developed to basically manipulate people into giving into their twisted ideology, which basically states if you don't affirm these people who have gender dysphoria, they will cry or kill themselves. And it's the perfect example of a Motte and Bailey technique, or fallacy as people classify it. And it's used all over the place. It's used by feminists. You know, the feminists were running around talking about the future is female, the future is female. And once you challenge them on that and say, well, that sounds like a female-dominated position, they'll retreat to their Motte and they'll say, well, feminism is about equality, blah, blah, blah. Even though they were just a few minutes ago basically advocating for a female-centric or a female-dominated position. So it's not really about equality. And it's the same thing the advocates always, anti-gun advocates always have this position as well. When you tell them, well, you can't have weapons, when they say you can't have weapons of war, and people challenge them and say, well, you know, it's a right enshrined in the Constitution. They will retreat to their Motte, and they'll say, well, you know, children are being massacred every day, blah, 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 blah. Even though you cite examples of gun-free jurisdictions like Chicago or New York have really, really high gun violence, they still stick with that. So you got to learn when these people use the Motte and Bailey technique, that they don't have strong arguments, because if you have to retreat to the Motte, the more easily defensible position, then you know that you've got them on the ropes, and you've got to learn to discern this tactic that they use, because they've been the people who develop leftist ideology have been at it for decades, for like going back to the 30s and 40s. They've been developing their rhetoric and their ideological positions in academia since then, and they whiteboard these things, and they game them out to see what the best rhetorical strategies are. And they teach them to their activists who go out there and they preach this stuff. And you got to learn to spot this tactic and go in for the kill, because when they're retreating to the Motte from the Bailey, they know they're in danger and they have to take evasive action, because they know they're cornered. And you got to learn to discern this tactic and go in for the kill and eviscerate their rhetoric. And this is how we win the culture war, is by being smart to their tactics like this. Okay, I hope this explains it. If it doesn't explain it clearly enough, please let me know in the comments. I will be happy to do another video to go into it more, if it helps to explain the concept a little bit more. And feel free to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. And thank you for watching.
Does a chicken have gender identity? Does a chicken cry?
Well,
Does a chicken commit suicide?